Welcome to Resource Thursday with TitanHQ. I'm your host, Paco Lebron. This is the place where to learn how to run your IT service business, whether you're a one-person shop or leading a team for the journey. This is the place for you. Let me go ahead and introduce my co-host. We have none other than Rick Smith over at Renactus Technology. Rick, how are you today?
I'm doing good, Paco. Can't complain. Can't complain. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Happy Thursday, which I like to also call Friday Junior. But we also have a guest today. We have none other than Tom Watson, channel chief of TitanHQ. Tom, how are you today?
Great. Really looking forward to this. We started talking about this almost a year ago, so this is fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. My new role at TitanHQ, getting out there, putting myself in front.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I'm really glad that we finally got you to go on. I can't believe it's almost been a full year, but definitely well worth the wait. We'll kind of go into your backstory here in a bit and kind of what you're up to over at TitanHQ. But before we go into that, I want to talk about one of my favorite things, and that is TechCon Unplugged. TechCon Unplugged is September 16th to the 18th at the Hilton Rosemont Chicago O'Hare. We got quite a few updates. We have, if you were listening into Matt Lee's Beard Banter, I highly suggest you check it out because it kind of goes into the details of Ethan Tancredi over at Huntress, along with Cyber Matt Lee, creating a tabletop exercise titled Tabletop Exercise MSP Worst Day. Really getting into the emotion and the exercise of if your MSP has been breached or you have an incident, what are you going to do? And really running you through a real life example and seeing how you fare and really taking some actionable items and really good information to take back with you. So definitely good things are coming. We have the new agenda is up. We're still constantly updating that as well to kind of make it a little bit more details about what you're getting yourself into. We got some new vendors that signed, so we're going to hopefully get those updated on the website so you can see who those are. We're really excited for one of them to finally join us, so we'll make sure that we announce those as they come along. And then, of course, we have our Saturday Night Social, which is a great outing that will be off-site. That is sponsored over by Gradient and Acronis. So tickets are $299. Head over to techconunplugged.com, and we look forward to seeing you there. All right. Outside of our little commercial there, Tom, really appreciate you again coming on this Thursday morning. But before we get into TitanHQ, why don't we talk a little bit about yourself and how you kind of found yourself into the channel / the IT industry?
Great. Yeah. So we got to go back into the 90s for that. I was back in the late 90s, got some technical training, MCSE school, all of that kind of thing. Went to grad school for management of IT and started working at an MSP in the late 90s. And went from there to a couple other jobs and then realized I really liked that MSP model. So I actually went back to the MSP that I'd worked for, and I knew the owner was retiring. And I started my MSP by buying a couple of his contracts, payout over a couple of years, kind of launched my MSP, which was interesting because back then, we're talking like 2001, I actually launched an MSP with managed service agreements, which was kind of unusual at the time because it was more break fix. But this guy had actually figured out the managed service model a little sooner than many. But it's funny, I did that, but I actually added a lot of the clients as break fix over the next few years. And then we get to the Great Recession. And in that situation, I end up realizing the value of managed services. I make a full sale move to managed services between 2008 and 2010, get rid of all the clients that were break fix, run the business for another 5 years, and then decided at 15 years in, I'd had enough and that I wanted to sell it. And there were buyers. And so I exited that company successfully, profitably. And then I took a couple of years off, did the European thing for months at a time, other countries, cross-country RV trips, had a great time, and then had some good friends of mine that came out of ConnectWise, Adam Slutskin, Matt Nacktrab, and they brought me over to eFolder as VP of MSP Best Practices. And I was there for 2.5 years. And then, as you know, as we met, I was with Ninja One for 2 years as their channel chief advisor. And just recently in May, I made the move over to TitanHQ as channel chief as a part of their MSP first strategy.
Very cool. Very cool. I know that that's where obviously we met over at TechCon Unplugged. You were there. You actually did one of our pre-day events as well that day, which was pretty hilarious. If those for don't know, Ninja has a really great content creators over there, and this one was back to the revenue. And so the theme was essentially having Tom go through the decades and years as the other gentleman who was hosting at the time, kind of go through what should an MSP really think about and really figure out on trying to get their revenue back up. So it was a really funny and creative exercise. We got to bond a little bit from there, talk a little bit more as well. Hopefully it was a beneficial event while you were there. And then really just talking into now really what you're doing over at TitanHQ.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that event, Paco. Thanks for bringing that up again, because I enjoyed it for a couple reasons. Always love coming to the Chicago area. It's fantastic. I was there with Dom Scafidi, who's also in the marketing department, and we had Jonathan Crow, who's the mastermind over at Ninja in terms of creative content. And we put on this, it was like a Back to the Future themed thing, trying to get people to think of, what would you do if you could go back in time and redo how you run your MSP and managed services. I thought that was great. I really enjoyed the size of the show you had. I find often it's nice to go to these big shows, but I find that there's a smaller show where it's a little more intimate. You get to know people. Like how would I get to know you in a larger show? It would be a crapshoot if it would. We got to talk quite a bit, get to know each other. I get to talk to a lot of MSPs that were in the Chicago area and really get some good leads out of that, and also make some strong connections. And then I really enjoyed the Saturday night event you did too. That was fantastic. Had some great food and entertainment, and I just overall left that with a really good feeling that it's something I would like to attend again. Very
cool. Yeah. So you heard it here, folks. If you haven't purchased your tickets now, techconunplugged.com. Definitely want to go ahead and get your tickets there. But
real quick, I'd like to say also is that I'm a former MSP owner, so I'm not viewing that just as a vendor side, which I am now. I view it as, if I was an MSP, I'd want to go there because you get a lot more one-on-one time with people. More focused time. I remember that one night, I think it was Friday night, we had a dinner, and I sat there at a table for like 3.5 hours, and it was just like a stream of MSPs coming up, and we were having these long conversations, kind of, just they weren't bounded by any time constraints, and we got to know people, and that leads to the best relationships in the channel.
Yep. Absolutely. No, absolutely. I think me and Rick always talk about Friday night where we were at a table. It was me, Rick, Jeff Hallish at the time, John Dubinsky, Amy Luby over at Acronis, Matt Lee, who now over at PAX 8, and I believe another gentleman. And I cannot tell you, we haven't laughed that hard in
that was a great time.
I mean, it was a long time that we had such a great time at that time. And then that's where you get the unplugged from, right? And that's where the name comes from, is getting that unplugged, unfiltered conversation. And I mean, it was just such a good time. So I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody again in September. But yeah, so definitely check it out if you're interested. Definitely, if you're hearing about this now, make sure you go ahead and get a ticket over there. But back to TitanHQ. I know that I have heard the name TitanHQ. I know TitanHQ has been around for quite a long time. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the company, the business, and kind of what it does TitanHQ do?
Yeah, so TitanHQ has been around for over 20 years. Started with a spam filtering product, which is called Spam Titan now, and then added a series of products over the years. I think we're probably best known by a lot for Web Titan, and that is DNS filtering. Competes very well in terms of features and functionality with DNS filter and Cisco Umbrella, and like much better pricing. So really good option there. And then we have some other really interesting, because I call it a human layer cybersecurity platform. So we have a Spam Titan, we have Spam Titan Plus that does the links. We also have Web Titan for DNS. We've got Encrypt Titan for email encryption. We have Arc Titan, email archiving, and now we have a security awareness training platform called Safe Titan. So if you look at all this stuff, none of these applications sit on the desktop. So they sit above the desktop in the protecting the user from what's going on the internet. But it's really nice because you can get a number of those human layer cybersecurity products from one company, kind of simplifying that. We know that most MSPs out there are using at least a couple of those things in their stack. So I think it looked to me, what I liked about it when I came on board was, okay, I want to go somewhere that has multiple products, and I want to go somewhere where the value prop to MSPs is such that I'm not trying to convince them of, hey, you really need this one product, but rather I've got a platform of a number of products. And by getting those from us and bundling them together, you can deal with one company for them. You can have one bill, and you can simplify what you're putting into your stack, because we all know about the vendor sprawl situation going on, and this helps with that. And so great products, great company. We are Irish based. I actually was over there just in June, and I led a partner advisory board meeting. That kind of leads me to my other partners. So we have this MSP first strategy. And with that, we are doing everything we can to get in front of MSPs here in North America. We now have a sales office in Shelton, Connecticut that is headed up by Vice President of Sales, Jeff Benedetti. Y'all probably know him. He was at Scout. Before that, he was at Datto. He's kind of an icon in the channel. And he's heading that up. I get up there quite often. And as an MSP first strategy, I'm on the road all the time. Lots of trade shows, lots of speaking. I'm on podcasts, webinars. And so I'm just trying to put myself out in front of there as someone who understands what MSPs need and being the voice of the company, but also the voice of the MSPs into the company.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I think, you said something that me and Rick always have a great debate about, and that is the consolidation of tools and having predictable avenues. Because I love that strategy, because that allows me to understand, like you just said, the vendor sprawl. You have one bill, there's one person, there's one throat to choke. There's all these benefits of having that as well. But Rick, I want you to tell me about when you're looking for tools and such as these. Does something of this convenience allure you to maybe go to that type of a solution?
Well, I'm going to say this. This is different, right? Because this is not everything. This is not all my eggs in one basket, but this does bring to me a category of what I'm doing in one place, right? And that makes sense, and as Tom said, I am running, web filter, phishing, and training all from 3 different vendors, right? Because each one did one decent, but not the other, or they didn't offer the other. So this does, from a standpoint of saying, okay, in this bundle, this pack here, this is fine. Like you wouldn't get a fight from me about bundling these 3 or these 4, or what you guys have 5 products, right?
Yes.
5. Okay. So these 5, because they fit a certain category, right? But what I'm talking about, and is just everything is on one platform, and that just scares me. And that's just, maybe it's that old fashioned, what your mom used to say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So don't put all your tools in one window.
So Tom, with the consolidation, the combination of those tools, I imagine that TitanHQ felt that there was a need for that, to have the ability to offer those solutions from the MSPs. Was this a strategy of helping them save money, helping them save time? What was kind of the allure of making sure that there was a one-stop shop for any of these products that were of need?
Well, I think a lot of it goes back to that human layer. So once you delve into that human layer that's not installed on the machine, you start to look at, okay, how do you fill that out? Well, you've got the spam filtering, and then you got the web filtering. So you got your email and your surfing covered. So where do you go from there? Well, you kind of got to double down on the email in a couple ways, because you want to protect it with the encryption. You want to make sure you have it with the archiving. And then to round it out, we made an acquisition this year for a security awareness training company. And that rounds it out, because, okay, we've got all this stuff. And of course, email is a major threat vector. But if we can put the awareness training in front of that, in addition to the spam filtering and the other protections, then you start to have a really nice package of things that is appealing to an MSP and consequently appealing downstream to their clients as well. It's something that can be well understood. Hey, we've got a series of products from one company that's bringing these integrated together and giving us a comprehensive package to protect you when you're doing email and surfing from your computer.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know that security awareness training is super hot right now. I think that's really where, either that's being imposed on our end clients, end users, by either partners that are their clients that are asking how are they being protected when working with them. There are insurance companies that are now starting to ask for a lot of this as well. And there's a lot of great stats behind having someone go through security awareness training on how so beneficial it is to the organization that runs it. With that kind of going through, how, so there are different types of security awareness training that I've seen. There's the animated, there's the slideshows, there's those that are filmed in human interaction. Can you tell us a little bit more about how is your security awareness training as far as that format, and how have your partners really been enjoying now that it's been included in the TitanHQ family of tools?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, it's video based and lesson based, but the greatest thing about it is it's contextual. So a lot of security awareness training is, you assign to someone and they run through this course, and then you assign them another one. And this one actually is looking at the answers you give and how you're interacting with it. And then it is basing the rest of the training, the questions, the lessons based on where you need help. And I think that's a big differentiator.
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge, because I think exactly like you said, I think a lot, I even brought it up to, so my fiance works for a client of mine, and that's a longer story than it should be. But when I was told by the COO at the time, hey, we got to start deploying the security awareness training, she said, okay, that's great. When is that going to happen? Because we don't have time. And I was like, oh, well, it's going to be about like 2 modules a month. She's like, wait, it's not going to be we can just get through all of the modules at one time. I said, no. I said, why? Oh, because I just want to click right through it. And so that really helps with that conversation of, for those that don't pay attention to it, she's the worst.
Yeah.
But two, that algorithm and that intelligence of knowing how they're interacting with the security awareness training to then derive those others versus, a static scheduling of them out. I think that's huge. How has been the success rate with your partners by implementing that? Do you know maybe any, not so much stats, but maybe feedback you received on how that's been improving their services as they kind of move forward?
Yeah, it's very positive. We've been rolling it out, and we are having a major update to it coming out in September. So as I mentioned, like, this was actually just purchased in, I believe, February of this year.
Oh,
so
okay.
so it's a relatively new product, but we are getting good feedback. Like I said, in particular on that contextual base. And one of the things, what I think about that is something you have to watch out in security awareness training is, I send it to you, Paco, and assign it to you, but you're sitting next to Rick, who already did it. And if it's, I need to do this real quick, Rick, can you give me the answer? Well, we don't want that. When you do it contextual based, you're getting a customized version of it. And that's key, because we need to keep people on their toes with this kind of stuff.
Right.
We need to not make them feel like it's just click through and get it done. It's got to be serious. And I think that helps an MSP leverage it better, because the MSP is handling multiple clients. They're not there on site all the time with the client. They're sending out, they're assigning it. They need to make it so it really is adhered to and people get something from it. And I think this platform and the decision why TitanHQ chose to purchase this one and acquire this company is specifically because of what it does for MSPs, how it works into them. And it goes back into our MSP first strategy, where we want all of our products, our marketing. My entire role is a brand new role at the company. And it is because I'm a former MSP owner, and I'm here to deliver solutions to MSPs and to help them grow their businesses. And I think that these tools all work into that.
No, that's great. I mean, I think that's really showing the dedication, obviously, and the investment that TitanHQ is trying to do for the channel and partners, et cetera. With this MSP first strategy, does TitanHQ have a partner program now that you are in the mix and trying to meet with other MSPs, trying to understand kind of what's how it could be of benefit to them?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. As a matter of fact, I have up on my screen a partner program one-pager that I'm putting the final edits on to print to take to these shows over the next few weeks.
Okay.
And we actually did a partner program webinar about a month ago to launch the program. And it's pretty cool. We have dedicated MSP channel account management team. We have partner success managers assigned. We have a partner sales enablement and marketing portal. You can log in. We've got white label and co-branded content. webinar in a box we're getting ready to launch. We're going to launch ready to go email campaigns. So we have a whole system, and not only are we giving you this system, but if you want to get in there with us, we will help you produce these assets. We'll help you produce a campaign. I'll even get in there. We're going to use some of our marketing prowess in the back end to help you use this marketing tool. In addition, we have market development funds available starting next year. And that even includes, if you've got a really good event, you want me to come out there and speak with you, you can do that. And NFR program, as well as co-marketing events. So we're really open. This MSP first strategy, we have money budgeted for it. We have me out there. I mean, I am really looking to take this to MSPs. I've had very good luck with these programs in the past. I built something similar at Axient. I'm trying to move that kind of thing over here, where the message is, we're not just giving you a program and a platform. We're going to help you get something out of it.
Very cool. And I was going to ask that next question too, was if you had a partner enablement materials in a program, which sounds like you do, along with the MDF. And, you know, I think that's a huge thing that our listeners, attendees don't really take advantage of, right? Because I think that there's an opportunity for MDFs to really help their business. And when they think MDF, it's like, oh, well, great money, you know, I can subset my costs with the tools, but really utilizing the investment that vendor has made. As you mentioned, you know, the webinar in the box is what kind of made my ears perk. Co-marketing specific events, do a lunch and learn, do a virtual lunch and learn, like those ability of being able to do special tailored small things bring in net really good results. I know I was talking to Juan Fernandez over at MSP Growth Coalition, and he was saying when he had his MSP, his biggest success out of all of the marketing items and things that he has done was holding events tailored to small businesses in any of the markets he was trying to launch. He said he got so much more qualified leads from holding those type of business shows than any other. So when you have vendors like TitanHQ and doing the investment, really helping you understand the product, really understanding the education, and because it's not like TitanHQ is trying to sell the product, which they are, obviously it's a business, but really understanding that these are needs that our small businesses need. And so how can you correlate that to your audience? A lot of us are not salespeople. And then I think there's a lot of people that struggle with trying to handle sales. And I think that's a great opportunity. And from what you're saying that everyone is doing over at TitanHQ, sounds like it really being all hands in with the MSP first strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you touched on something that's really important to me. Rather than just give someone funds, we want to understand what they're trying to do. We want to help them with that marketing campaign, even using our platform, our sales and marketing platform, to help them push that out, helping them, like I said, pick venues, pick the best way to do it. I've done a lot of this in my past, both as an MSP owner and with a couple of vendors. So we want to make sure you get the most out of it, because of course there is an investment by us, and we know that it comes back to us in the long run. So we're not just going to leave you hanging. We're going to provide you the support to put on an event properly and get the most out of it, and teach you kind of that way of doing a campaign and a cadence of doing events regularly. I worked with an MSP a few years ago, and they did some type of lunch and learn or other event or a brewery or something like that every month. And their sales exploded from that. They put a lot of money into it for a year, but because they had that regular cadence of them and people were seeing this regular stream of marketing events coming out of them, it sent a message to their community of, we're very serious about connecting with you. We do lots of cool and fun things. And, you know, people would see that a couple of times over and go, maybe I should go to that.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the most underutilized tools that you get from any vendor, or the vendors that offer it.
Yeah.
I think it's probably one of the most underutilized tools that MSPs just don't take advantage of. And, you know, sometimes there's MDF funds, sometimes there's not, but you still will find some vendors who are willing to co-market with you, or willing to provide, you know, just some kind of documentation or some kind of, you know, flyers or something that you can co-brand or you can brand. And a lot of us don't take advantage of it. And it really is a, you know, a free help or easier marketing tool than you having to create something yourself, is to take advantage of what the vendor has to offer. And it is just really and it helps more so to educate your client, product, prospect, whoever, on what you offer and what it can do for you, and probably says it in a much better way than you probably could. So I do it, encourage people. And it's something I realize in listening as I say, Paco, as we talk about growing our business acumen, it's one of the things I realize. It's one of those other hidden gems that we don't take advantage of.
Right.
Well, Rick, I think you touched on something I think is really important. A lot of vendors have this available. Some of them don't advertise it. We are, to our members who are in our partner program. But I think what happens is MSPs see this listed. They don't really know what it means. They don't know what to do with it. And that's what I want to get across is I've been on your side before as MSP owners, and I can help you come up with the plan that you then submit to us. And so I'm not going to leave you hanging. You can say, hey, Tom, I was thinking about doing something, but I'm not sure what it is. And I'd be like, okay, what if we did a brewery happy hour? What if we did a lunch and learn? Here's some ideas. And here's how you could go get prospects to come. Here's some avenues to go through your Chamber of Commerce or lists or, LinkedIn. And here, I'll help you fill out the application so you can explain the ROI to us. My point is, I'm not going to leave people hanging. I'm going to help them get that fund and help them come up with a plan and execute. And I think that's the big thing that holds MSPs back. They don't know what to do with these programs or how to go get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. So, Tom, we're close to at the end, rounding out the show here, but I really want to go into talk about what you can reveal on TitanHQ on commitments, pricing, and minimums for someone that may want to get involved with taking a look and just becoming a partner over at TitanHQ.
Paco, I will tell you the great thing about my role is I don't talk a little bit at the booth to people, but I mainly talk about the partner program, MSP First Strategy. I know a little bit about, what the products do. I've been on demos of all of them. I think they're really good. Our Spam Titan's really robust, spam friendly product. Web Titan, DNS filtering, that's great. In terms of what I know about the pricing is that we have the functionality of some of the bigger names out there, and we are almost always able to get you a really good deal in price and save you some money. And at the same time, as I mentioned, we can bundle up a few products for you and make that simpler, reduce some of that vendor sprawl.
Very cool. Very good.
Now, well, Tom, does that? I'm sorry. No, I just have one question. If we started adding, let's say we started with just say Spam Titan, and Spam Titan, and we added, let's say, Web Titan. Those all just fall into that same quote unquote pane of glass. Everything just falls in, or are we looking at different modules?
We do have different logins right now. We are in the process, and it is hoped to be launched by the end of this year. A single sign-on platform where you can get in there and manage your full account.
Okay.
Very good question. Awesome. Well, Tom, is there anything else that we may not have touched or that we should cover before we kind of sign off on the show?
I think we've covered it pretty well. You obviously had good questions for someone in my role. I think I actually need to go and study up on a couple things. I take a couple notes here. But have better answers for some of them. But I think we covered the main points. I think the thing I'd like to say is I'm at TitanHQ because they came to me and said, we're coming up with this MSP First strategy. And it appealed to me as a former MSP owner. It's something I would buy into on the other side. And I'm in a role where I'm more about delivering value to MSPs and how we help them grow their businesses than I am in a role really selling to them. And I like that because my feeling is if I give you guys and other MSP owners something for free even, or if I give you assistance in growing your business, you're going to be like, hey, what else do these guys have? They're doing stuff for us. And I feel like blessed to have a role like that where I can interact with the MSP community in that way. And it's not that aggressive sales type role.
Gotcha. No, that's awesome. From when we've talked back in Tech Unplugged, our rapport, you're a stand-up guy. I've heard nothing but good things of anyone who you have been across that have a good professional relationship with you. So definitely everything you have said does stand true. You do really mean what you're saying. And, I really appreciate you coming on the show and just sharing a little bit about TitanHQ. If anyone wanted to reach out to you specifically, maybe they have some questions or just wanted to kind of pick your brain, what's the best way for them to reach out?
You can on LinkedIn, Tom Watson, TitanHQ, you'll find me. And then Tom Watson at TitanHQ.com. And I guess one more point I'd just like to say, guys, I had a great time at TechCon Unplugged last year. And I don't know where all the MSPs come from. I think some came from, whether you're in Chicago or you got to travel there, this is an event worth going to. It's hand-picked vendors that I know that you're only letting specific ones in that really add value to the MSP community. And it's just a great couple of days, and you're going to get something out of it. If I were an MSP owner, I would be going.
Appreciate the kind words. Appreciate the feedback. Tom, really appreciate you you coming out here this morning. Rick, any last words before we sign off?
Well, I think Tom said it better because I was going to give my spiel on TechCon Unplugged. But again, Tom, I do appreciate your time today. I think we gathered a lot and learned a lot about TitanHQ. And I'm just going to say again to everyone, we are looking forward to, wow, it is 2 months, Paco. So we are looking forward to less than 2 months, really. We're looking forward to TechCon Unplugged. And again, with this show, I'm going to say this again. I hadn't said it in a while, but, we do this for the community, for ourselves. We help grow. We have some great vendors that come on that we think enriches the community. So if there's anyone out there who has any suggestions, any vendors, any techs that want to come on the show, we do welcome. We welcome you. Please, you can send us an email at info@mspunplugged.com. And we also, for the show and for TechCon Unplugged, we just love to get feedback and tell us what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, what we can improve on, because all that is important because this is a show for us, by us. And the only way we can, keep it at a high level of consistency is by, taking into account what you feel about it and what we feel the audience needs. So, with that, I'm just going to turn it over to Paco to close out.
Sounds good. Well, again, really appreciate everyone coming this morning. If you would like to see more of this type of content, tune in every Tuesday and Thursday. You can watch the video podcast on YouTube and on Facebook, just looking up MSP Unplugged, along with LinkedIn. Now we just newly added. Again, search hashtag MSP Unplugged. Like, subscribe, hit the notification, and whichever platform you are on to be notified whenever a new episode is available. You can also take us on the go on your favorite podcatcher app. We're on Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. And more importantly, we want to thank you for listening, and we will see you next time on MSP Unplugged.